Okay, the timer is about to run out. I had a couple of people in the chat, Joanne Moore and Phil Wright. Thank both of you for saying hi and joining the live stream. I'm not going to go on for too long tonight, maybe an hour or so. See how it goes. There's my monitor. Right, I do have a couple of videos to play. First thing I'll do is bring up a comment I got on one of my videos. Bear with me a second. Right. How is everyone? I hope you're all managing out there okay and not living in fear too much. That was one thing I would like to think I could do with my videos, is help people not to put the current climate in perspective. Yeah, right, there was a video there was some comments I wanted to read out. Yeah, my last video, would Ashley Kane and Dollface lie about leukemia? So, okay, I'm going to bring it up on screen in a minute. Right, let's see, how do I do this? Okay, here's the comments to a particular video. Dagjab, 10 hours ago, he said, off topic here, but what do you think of all those videos appearing online showing people, including elderly people, being harassed, fined and even arrested for simply sitting on a bench and breaching these ridiculous rules? Do you think there's a chance these incidents could be a staged stunt in order to set an example to others and push more fear? My reply was, yes, I would think that is exactly what they are. I made this reply before actually seeing any of the recent videos, but I have since come across them, and we're going to watch a couple of them and see what you think. Yeah, I replied, yes, I would think that is exactly what they are, staged to make people think it just isn't worth the hassle. Based on my own experience, I do occasionally get asked about a mask, but I show them my exemption card or just say I'm exempt, and that's the end of it. One indicator is how much exposure these videos get. If they have hundreds of thousands of views, then I'd say that mainstream media / government want them to be seen. Dagjab replied, I agree too about the high views, though I'm not sure if the video I mentioned has got that level of views and mainstream coverage. I pity a lot of the truth channels and sites don't seem to question them. I'm not saying no one is being hassled for sitting on a park bench, but if they are, it's a tiny few, and I doubtful the video will go viral unless it's allowed to. Absolutely correct. My reply was, after replying to your comment, I went on Twitter and came across 2 videos of police harassing members of the public, one on a Bournemouth beachfront, the other in a park, and they are difficult to accept as real because the police are focusing on 1 or 2 people while everyone else is walking around without a problem. Also in the park one, there is a professional cameraman, so that is a big indicator. I do plan to make a video on this at some point, thanks for sharing, and that is the video done. We're doing now. And I see Dagjab has since replied, but I've not read this one yet. Thanks for that, Bobby. I never noticed the professional cameraman, but not sure if I saw the park video. Well, we're going to watch it in a minute. If those videos are staged, then why isn't anyone in the Truth Alternative movement pointing this out and just believing them to be a real incident? I guess either they believe they're real because of all the fear talk about more freedoms being taken away, etc., and the thought of them being staged doesn't enter their minds, or it gives them something to shout about and say, see, we told you we are becoming a police state. I suppose they're focusing on 1 or 2 people for argument's sake that they are real because they aren't obeying the rules, whereas everyone else around them is. So I suppose they're picking on lone easy targets. The videos first came to my attention via Carl Vernon. Vernon does a load of videos on all the craziness going on. Every minute almost there's a video about something he's uploaded to his channel. He sure does have a lot of spare time in his hands. The problem with it being staged is the bystanders and public watching. Now, if, say, there's a cameraman walking around or it looks staged, wouldn't someone have come forward to say this, who was there? Or are we suggesting everyone now was in on it too? Whether it's real or not, it's clear to me that this is being circulated to scare people into doing as they're told. Could be another reason, who knows? Maybe the more of these videos are being made showing this kind of treatment, the more it's making people realise what's going on. Brilliant. Thank you very much for your thoughts on that, Dagjab. Although, where was the story I wanted us to look at? I haven't lost it, but it was perfect. Here we go. Video of woman arrested for sitting on a bench was staged, police say. Right, we're going to look at this in a minute. I'm just going to go to the chat. Susan Byrne, thanks very much for commenting. You also thought they were staged. Well, apparently, according to this story, PA Media, whoever that is, PA, that's public address. I think that's quite a... I don't know if that's considered mainstream media, but I imagine it is because Microsoft News, MSN.com, are highlighting it. This is what they say, and to look at the headline, if you just glanced at the headline, do you want to watch the videos first? Would that make more sense? Right, we'll watch the first one. Yeah, there's two of them. One of them takes part in a park, I'm not sure where, probably in London. And the next one's on Bournemouth Beach. I think this one's particularly talking about the Bournemouth Beach video. So we'll watch that first. I'm going to mute myself and then we'll get back to it. I do want to... Yeah. Okay. What have I done now?
Today in the town centre and around here and walking up and down the thing. That's not one exercise.
Right, in the town centre.
No,
That's Tesco's. This is what you wanted to see, so I'm going to tell you what it is. Section 50 of the Police Reform Act 2002, okay? If a constable in uniform has reason to believe that a person has been acting or is acting in an antisocial manner, you may require
antisocial manner. Am I acting in an antisocial manner?
What's antisocial?
Listen to me, that he may require that that person give him his name and address, okay? Any person who fails to give his name and address when required to do so under subsection gives a false or inaccurate name is guilty of an offence, okay?
Are they acting unsociably? And I was sat on a bench having a cup of coffee.
Listen to me now.
That is not antisocial.
Sociably now, aren't you?
Well, because yes, you're provoking me.
No, I'm not.
You are. You literally are.
Right, are you going to give us your details or not?
No.
No?
I'm not obliged to. I'm not
Okay,
going
you're in
What's going on? Why are you putting your hands behind her back? What are you doing? I was sitting on a bench. I was sitting on a bench. What the hell are you doing to this woman? You are breaking your own laws, your own property. This is disgusting. What are you doing? What's this poor woman doing? I was sitting on a bench. Why is her hands behind her back? You've got to choose your side. Why are her hands behind her back? Sorry, no, you're not going to arrest me for having a coffin. This is not going to attack you. This is disgusting, guys. You're on breach of your own regulations. Choose your side. Choose your side. Make sure you sue them. Look at them. There's hardly any of us here. Hardly any. Talk about fucking freedom of speech, people. Fucking tyranny. Fucking tyranny, I'm telling you. Yeah, it's going to get worse, guys. Mark my words.
They'd already decided to find them before they even got there as well. Come on.
Bastards. Right.
Okay, that was the first one. Just going to the chat, I see a few. Maria and Susan have commented about some of the arrest videos. Right, how do I...
Today.
Okay, now this was the first one I wanted to talk about. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever been to Bournemouth. I have, and this is a very public place. I know this beachfront, and what I mean is it's interesting that all these police officers are focusing on just this one woman, when as you can see, just up here, there's people just stood round watching. Now, what difference are they doing to what that woman on the beach was doing? Woman on the bench was doing, drinking her coffee. There's people just standing around watching. And there's tons of police out, as we can see. So, interesting, that news article claimed it was staged. Lose that. We'll go back to this story on PA. A video appearing to show a woman being arrested for breaching BS 19 rules after sitting on a bench was stage managed by anti-lockdown protesters, Dorset police said. Interesting. So are Dorset police suggesting all the police officers in that video were actors? No. If you read on, you'll see that absolutely wasn't the case. The footage, which has been shared widely online and has now been promoted, I'm just adding this bit, has now been promoted by both MSN.com and PA, so giving it a lot of coverage. Widely online, shows a woman in Bournemouth being handcuffed and led away by officers as she repeatedly tells them, "I was sitting on a bench." But police said they believe the clip was planned, stage managed and recorded by members of an anti-lockdown protest group and who were present in the town on Saturday. All this is correct, but I don't think it was done by anti-lockdown protest groups, because how can... It's not like they're orchestrating the police, is it? Okay, the force said 3 people were arrested following the demonstrations after refusing to give their details to officers who attempted to issue them with fines for breaching BS regulations. Dorset Police's Assistant Chief Constable Mark Callahan said, "We believe this video was planned, stage managed and recorded by members of the protest group who turned up in multiple areas, several of whom refused to engage and provide their details. If people refuse to give their details in such circumstances, then it leaves officers with little option but to arrest until the details are established. Our officers would only arrest as a last resort. Two of those detained were later de-arrested after supplying officers with their details and were subsequently fined by police." So, right, a third person was also released and fined after their details were verified in custody. The force said at least 7 fixed penalty notices were issued to those who breached lockdown rules on the day. Police made repeated attempts to contact the protest organisers to request it did not go ahead, but were unsuccessful. Mr. Callahan said, "It was clear that the group were deliberately organising their activities, walking around in twos and then trying to come together in a flash mob style approach as they had done previously," he said. The activity went on for a couple of hours. Some of the protesters were found to have remained in the area for a prolonged period of time, despite being warned by police. Mr. Callahan said some of those taking part had also travelled considerably from outside the Dorset area. A separate anti-lockdown protest was held at Clapham Common in southwest London on Saturday, resulting in 16 arrests. So they're saying the entire thing was staged and arrested, which I'm not sure if the next video we're going to watch comes from Clapham Common, but it could be. It's in a park in London. I did actually come across these videos on Twitter. I'll give credit to the accounts that uploaded them. I noticed actually in the comment left by Dagjab, Carl Vernon was mentioned. He's a curious person. He's very vocal in his criticism of how the whole lockdown things have been played out, and you know, he seems to be talking sense, but he gets an awful lot of yeah, I mean, how would you say it? I'd be curious if any of you watch the guy, follow the guy. Right, I'm going to have a quick look at the chat before we watch the next video. Phil Wright, Washington Capitol Hill, 100% staged. Even the lady was shot dead. Yeah, I saw a really interesting picture. I haven't heard about a woman being shot dead. And Phil, I'm really glad to hear you're not living in fear. Maria, it's all part of the fear mongering and inciting people to riot. Absolutely correct. Possibly, Maria says it's in order to bring the army, martial law. It could be that, because it's yeah, interesting with. It's interesting how history is recorded. In that, basically, whatever makes it to Wikipedia is accepted. For example, let's say 20 years from now, I'm sure 2020 and 21 will be remembered as the year everyone was sick. I'm not, and do you know, it's interesting thinking back to 2020. I did have a couple of colds. Now, fortunately, I'm quite a healthy person. I don't regularly get sick, but in early 2020, I remember getting 2 colds. Not particularly bad, just colds. And then after that, I was healthy for the rest of the year, and pretty much everyone else I know was also healthy. I didn't know anyone that got the. I don't remember anyone that got the flu. Maybe one person who said he had quite a bad bout of flu early on. Actually, that was 2019. But yeah, the flu seemed to go away last year. I'm not sure. Maria and Susan both watch Carl Vernon. Yeah, I know some people that watch them and always sharing their stuff. But it was Vladimir Lenin that said, in order to control the in order to beat the opposition. Now, the best way to beat the opposition is to control the opposition. Right, here's the second video that we were going to look at. Okay, I'm going to mute myself again. This one is very long. It's the people in London. Or, well, it's in a park. I think it's London. But yeah, when we're done, I'll point a couple of things out. Okay.
So you can't. It's common land, common law, common land, common. I do what I want.
We'll start going. Yeah, okay.
I heard you.
Right.
Go on, then, bye-bye. Well, neither are you. Why are you standing here?
What's your name, sir?
I don't have to give you my name.
Well, you do, because at the moment you're...
I don't have to give you anything.
Well,
I don't have to give you anything. What law? What law says I've got to give you anything?
Well, the law says...
The law says what?
Legislation.
That's not... COVID legislation isn't a law. What law says I have to give you my name?
Well, it is.
Now look, you're causing a scene here. You make yourself look like an idiot. You are. Is this what you're going to do to your children? You're going to try and get your children to stay in the house and your family. You're trying to force it. Well, what exercise? I'm out exercising. Well, I'm standing here because you're talking to me. Fuck off. You go away. Exercise, innit?
Don't swear.
I can swear. There's no law that says I can't swear.
Well, it does.
Well, go away then. Go away then.
No, listen,
Go
I'll tell
away.
you, I'll either start leaving...
No, we're exercising. We're exercising. We're exercising. As you see, I'm exercising. I'm exercising. I'm exercising.
Okay.
So you can't.
Right. Are we...
So you can't.
No.
So you can't. It's common.
Yeah. Now this, I'm guessing they mentioned a common, so that
Law. What law says I have to give you my name?
also.
Now look, you're causing a...
Did it talk about Clapham Common? Let's see quickly. Yeah, I'll point out a few, one major issue now. it looks like, bear with me, yeah, a separate anti-lockdown protest was held at Clapham Common in southwest London on Saturday. So I'm guessing this video actually comes from Clapham. Check this person out. A professional cameraman on the spot. Johnny on the spot, you might say. Ready to catch all the action. Perhaps, I mean, the way these people, if you didn't know that it was part of a, if you weren't aware that it was part of a lockdown, a protest, then you might just think these people are being harassed, but that kind of explains why there was a large police presence. It's not like you go out into your town or you visit Bournemouth tomorrow, you're going to come across hundreds of police everywhere. But yeah, this guy here with his camera kind of says to me that, again, the video was staged and put there for the sole purpose of, making this exact video. No one gets arrested though. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting that we had another video of people out and about, standing around, getting harassed. And yeah, that. Right. Sorry, going back to the chat. Washington Capitol Hill. That's personally, that's blatantly staged. I'm going to look at Twitter in a minute. If anyone else is aware of any other videos of such, there was someone mentioned one about a woman running with a child. Maria Ellinger said the Australian woman and child was disturbing, but again my thoughts were staged. I don't think I've come across that one, if it's a recent one. Okay, if we go onto Twitter, I saw an interesting, tweet. I'm sure we've all seen the pictures of The Simpsons and how many times they predicted the future. This one, Simpsons have a looking glass. This is Gail Stum. And it shows the exact likeness. I'm not sure what episode of The Simpsons this comes from, but it's pretty samey. Hey, right down to the tattoo. Although it looks, whether that's a tattoo or a bullet hole, I don't know. But he's got the brickwork on his arm, just as this guy's the brickwork on his arm. He's wearing the American flag, unless this gentleman watched an episode of The Simpsons, decided to go along to Capitol Hill, or wherever this is, the White House, and knew that he would be photographed. But yeah, curious stuff. Yeah, and those videos we watched, just to give credit to the people that originally posted them. The one in Bournemouth, I believe, was posted by PCR Claims, representing pro bono lawyers. Whether they've just re-uploaded it, I'm not sure. They seem to be the main people posting that one. And the one in London was Julia KBF, Putney Wildlife Rescue. 97,300 views on that one in London, and the one in Bournemouth, 58,900. It's just, yeah, when it is, I find it very it seems quite difficult to get much exposure on social media for videos unless you're promoted by the channel, for example. Phil Wright says you're not obligated to give your details unless you are alleged of committing a crime. Possibly, I'm not sure on that one. I had heard if you're ever asked to give your details by the police, you had to do it. Fortunately, it's very rare I am ever asked for my details. But to be honest, I don't know if I'd have a problem doing it. I think I would probably just I would give them my details. I don't know. Maybe sometimes it's just easier. Maria Ellender, a lot of these people are crisis actors. MI5 were advertising people to take part in simulated events a couple of years ago. Yeah, absolutely correct. Yeah, I do remember. I do remember seeing an advert for, it was a particular film company or an acting agency. They wanted people. This looked interesting. I haven't seen the video that actually goes with it. It looks like it's part of a video. In Egypt, this was a punishment for slaves. It would appear they were breaking the gland of blood encephalitis. The damage that will follow will probably be irreversible. Hematoencephalitis glands that separate false nasal hollow from mondanta hollow and serves as an obstacle to all forms of pollution, viruses and bacteria. Looks pretty... If that is a legit picture, I mean, I did look up this blood encephalitis punishment. I couldn't find anything myself. But yeah, it's pretty horrific, the testing that goes on. Now, I'm a great believer that without the tests, without testing, the government would have nothing. I mean, there's been a massive push for people to be given COVID tests in some jobs. People are pretty much forced to have one if they want to carry on working. It's a situation I found myself in and declined. And to begin with, you wonder, I mean, obviously they use the excuse that they just want to keep people safe, but like I said, without testing, they've got nothing. They've just got healthy people. I did see, I can't remember who the video maker was now, but he's a pretty well-known YouTuber, and he said the best way to keep the numbers down is to not be tested, because unless you're allowing them to test you, basically they got nothing to write their tests. Right, here was another curious story. Widow's heartbreaking warning to those ignoring coronavirus restrictions after healthy husband dies. I mean, how many stories are we hearing like this? One thing I do want to do actually in the chat, bear with me a second while I just straighten something up. Right, top. Yeah, I want to get the entire... There we go. No. Maybe not. Okay, on the bottom, I don't like half the messages being cut off. Thank you for your patience. I will be going back to the videos in a second. Excellent. Right, now we can read the entire message. Maria says, a friend of mine has to be tested weekly and after each test has a nosebleed and headache. The last test was positive and she then developed a cold and cough. Interesting. Yeah, like I said, I was in a situation where I was being asked to take a weekly test and declined. And as you can imagine, my employer wasn't best pleased with that. And I'm currently find myself in a bit of limbo in regards to where that job's going. But sometimes you've got to do what you know is best. Yeah, it's interesting you say your friend, nosebleeds and headaches. I can well imagine it. If done properly, because I remember I had lots of back and forth with my employers telling them it's inhumane, it's barbaric. And every manager I spoke to about it, I had numerous meetings where I was asked to have the test. And every time I said no, they said, you do know you can do it yourself, don't you? Basically telling me you don't actually have to do it properly. Just go in, take the test somewhere in private, stick it where the sun don't shine for all they care, return it, so long as you're on paper as doing it. No. For me, you're still basically, out a couple of reasons. I wouldn't ever publicly, I wouldn't ever give a public demonstration that I'm putting my faith anywhere other than God, to be honest. So, yes, doing their test is a complete no-no for me, come what may. I had heard of people losing their sense of taste after, I believe that was after testing. So Maria, your friend has my sympathy. Susan says that the virus is MSN. If everyone turned their television off, there would be no pandemic. Absolutely. I'm a great believer that we will be the ones to decide when it ends. The amount of people I've heard say, I just can't wait for this all to end and for everything to go back to normal. And I say to them, so depending on who it is, often I'll tell them, it's down to us. It's for us to say we're not taking part in it anymore. Because you imagine if everyone decided they're not going to wear masks in shops anymore. A shop's really going to be turfing people out, telling them they're not allowed to shop. Considering what the high street's like at the moment, a lot of shops wouldn't be in a situation to do that. Yeah, if everyone's declined to have a test, all those in jobs in which testing is required, again, what would they do? They would be forced to say, okay, we're not going to force you to be tested unless that's what the government want. Perhaps they are pushing people to a point where they want people to rebel and to say, no, I'm not doing it anymore. Someone earlier mentioned that it could be a reason to force martial law on us, or perhaps they just want to know how far people will be pushed. And I'm not sure how it looks from you guys. I've heard a lot of people saying it seems that people are awake to it now. Not from what I can see. It seems that people are more afraid than ever. Anyway, just this story I wanted to read and then look at some of the pictures. A heartbroken widow has given a stark warning to those still ignoring COVID-19 restrictions after her fit and healthy, in inverted commas, 59-year-old husband died just a few weeks after testing positive for BS virus. Okay. Paul Butler, a retired builder, died on December the 6th after a 4-week battle with the virus, leaving behind 3 children and his wife Jane. Butler's condition deteriorated after he was brought out of an induced coma. He was put under again and never woke. So actually what killed him was being put into an induced coma. His widow, Jane, the human body is an incredible thing. It is very well equipped to fight viruses. But if you're going to knock it out anytime it wants to deal with, anytime it's trying to deal with illness, then what hope have you got? that's if this story is remotely true. And as we read down, there's a picture that makes me wonder just how true it is. Right, his widow, Jane, 58, from Canvey Island in Essex, feels husband Paul's death is an important reminder of the ever-present danger of COVID and has urged others to follow the government's guidelines. Well, what a coincidence that was. Why is it the press never report on anyone that says, yeah, actually I know I am aware of someone who was taken, basically they had their medication messed around with around the start, this was last year. They became very ill because of it. They tried to get their doctor to change their medication. The doctor refused to see them until they had a test. And yeah, basically it made their life, they were messed up. And then within a few weeks, I believe it might have caused seizures to the person. They died, and the doctors tried to put it down as a COVID death. I believe the family did actually. I believe the family may well have told them that, it clearly isn't anything to do with COVID. It was negligence, and it was, basically professional negligence. If the doctor had seen the patient as they normally would have done after changing medication, then they probably would have still been alive. There's a couple of stories I know about that, but those ones never make it to the papers or never make it onto Yahoo News. It's always ones that it's always stories such as widows wanting to remind everyone how important it is to follow the government. She said, I think we all get wrapped up in our own feelings and forget that those wonderful NHS staff have a heart too. Would you want to put your loved ones through what we've been through? Seeing what goes on in a COVID ICU is not nice, believe me. Please just stop for a moment and digest. The virus is real. It kills and it breaks families. Now, in a genuine pandemic, you wouldn't have to remind people every day that the virus is real. It would go without saying. It would be self-evident. You wouldn't have to keep putting stories like this on. Where was the picture which was blatantly photoshopped? I mean, that one. Basically, two different light sources. She looks like she's, I don't know. Yeah, there was another really clearly fake picture. Maybe it was that one. And of course, they've got a fundraiser going. Jane has since raised $2,500 for Paul's favourite charity, Help for Heroes, adding that she wants to do something that will make him proud. Yeah, I remember when I first came across this story, I was surprised at how terrible the picture quality is. I don't know why I was surprised, because the pictures are always terrible. But yeah, these people don't look like they're, I don't know. This is a much better picture of him, the guy who died. Who do you think owns the rights to that picture? The wife? Nope, she sold off pictures of her husband to SWNS, whoever that is. Right. Go back to... Yeah, Susan. We're both West Country people. Interesting to know. What, if you don't mind sharing, what part of the country are you from, Susan? I'm a Bathonian, but I currently live just outside of Bath. Right, I'm going to start winding down soon. It's nearly midnight here in the UK. I think probably everyone watching this is in the UK. Just seeing if there was anything else I was gonna look at. Oh yeah, here's a curious one. I looked at this article expecting to see some numbers. I expect they are there. Hospital beds occupied by patients tops 30,000 in England. I mean, on a typical week in 2018, how many hospital beds were taken up by patients? Maria says the whole asymptomatic thing is beyond me. As a retired nurse, we were taught signs and symptoms of diseases and illnesses. When we visit GP, we describe the signs and symptoms and they diagnose. Absolutely, we never need a test to tell us we're ill before 2019. It's crazy. Again, I saw it was a poster actually. It was a picture on Twitter of a poster, and it said, "Stop saying asymptomatic. The word you're looking for is healthy," which is very true. Asymptomatic is basically healthy. It's like a company producing. Yeah, I mean, why are the people producing BS19 tests? Why are there only 2 of them? Why are there a whole host of companies offering you tests? It's like pregnancy testing. Imagine a room of 1,000 women saying, "Oh, you can catch pregnancy now. You don't necessarily have to have intercourse to get pregnant. You can catch it off someone, and they test you for it, and you have a positive test for pregnancy. Only 9 months comes and the baby's not there. 6 months, you go to your doctor, you say I haven't had any morning sickness, my stomach's not swelling, I'm still getting my menstrual cycle, and the doctor says, yeah, it's fine, you are infected with pregnancy, but it's asymptomatic, so don't expect to see any baby anytime soon." What a joke, eh? What a joke. Right, here is, what's this idiot called? I can't. Look at the big grin on his face. Oh, where has he gone? Apparently Matt Hancock. Interesting, actually. All adults will be vaccinated by autumn, says Matt Hancock. It isn't actually what he says, but it's a bit misleading, because I can tell you one thing. I'm sure a lot of other people that believe this. They will never vaccinate me. They'll have to hold me down and force it in me. And why they would want to do that, who knows? Right, yeah, we'll just hear Matt Hancock with a big grin on his face. I think he was crying the last time I saw him interviewed. Or pretending to cry. Does he say all adults will be vaccinated by autumn?
The inventor of the Pfizer vaccine said you had to vaccinate everybody by the autumn. Are you going to be able to do that?
Yes. So we're absolutely going
Everybody
to
will be vaccinated by the autumn.
Every adult will be offered a vaccine by the autumn. Absolutely. I totally agree. It's very, very, very important. So, of course, you've got to do it according to need, because somebody in a care home, for instance, is many, many times more likely to die if they catch coronavirus than somebody like me in my 40s.
There we go. Everyone will be offered a test. Susan, you were born in Bristol, but Bath was your stomping ground. Is there a chance I know you? Possibly. I lived in Bath until 2010 or 2009. Yeah, if you... yeah, it'd be interesting. Perhaps I know you. Yeah, so that news story, I mean, I wonder if perhaps soon they will force vaccines on people. Not a chance I would ever take one. I mean, it'd be interesting to see whether that will become a requirement for, say, people working in hospitals. Who knows? Yeah, Maria, you're absolutely right. Your body, your choice. Okay. Where else? Do you know, I don't know if anyone else uses Edge browser, but some of the stuff they like basically they give you their news feed. They recommend what you should be hearing about. Yes, right. I'm going to wind down very shortly. I'd like to say a big thank you to everyone who has taken part in the live chat. It really makes the streams a lot more manageable. Just seeing. Apparently, Harry and Meghan won't use social media again due to. Apparently, they get a lot of online abuse. Susan, I'm much younger than you. You'd be surprised. I'm actually 41 years old. Well, I'm not saying that's particularly old, but who knows? So, yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to start boring you with these stories. It's just I often get a lot of quite curious ones. Okay. Right. Parenting influencer dies aged 36 while pregnant with 5th child. Vile story, if they're going to make it up. But anyway, they love getting their numbers in. 36. Oh, I believe we saw she passed away on the 22nd of December. Of course, she was having her morning coffee and toast when she suddenly became unresponsive, according to an update posted to a GoFundMe page, which has raised more than $167,000 on her family's behalf. And of course, they link you to the GoFundMe page, don't they? The organizer has disabled new donations. Brilliant, right? Yeah, I think it's interesting. This was apparently a well-known influencer, as they say, basically someone that got big on like social media or somewhere. They died, and the family decided to reach out to the public and ask for them to donate money to, I guess, the funeral. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, always look for the numbers. Okay, like I said, it's nearly midnight. I've been going about an hour. I did want to look at those videos. I remember I did a live stream a couple of, probably, well, back in 2020 definitely, and it was actually talking about mask exemptions, saying that where you could get exemption codes from. Curiously, that video got taken down by YouTube within a couple of hours. No, a couple of days actually, they took down the YouTube video. Another video that YouTube took down, apparently for impersonation, was one of, it was police harassing someone on a train for not wearing a mask. And I said, again, I thought it was staged. The reason they gave for taking that video down was impersonation, which I didn't quite understand. But who knows? I am thinking I'm going to be a bit daring. I'm going to try and I'm going to stick a couple of fingers up at YouTube and say, where are we? Yeah, this was the video. Anyone who didn't get a chance to watch my video, beware these propaganda pieces before it got removed by YouTube. Or if you just want to watch it again, it can now be found on 153 News here. I'm thinking I might close out this video and we can watch that. Yeah, it's interesting that the videos I've had taken down recently have been ones on the whole BS19 things. Like I said, where to put was it this video about I'll be doing a live stream looking at the new rules. Now I think that one stayed up. But that's the only time I've ever put a mask on a train on public transport. I got so fed up, I found a giraffe mask and just put it on. Okay, right. I'm gonna, before we do watch this video, I'm gonna say a big thank you to Susan Byrne, Maria Ellender, Phil Wright. Did anyone else comment? And Joanne Moore, she chipped in early on. I'm not sure if she's still with us. If you have managed to stay for the whole chat, that'd be great. Otherwise, thank you to everyone who was tuned in and left a comment. And if anyone put a like button up, I don't know, but yeah, a couple of you are thumbed up, much appreciated. All I will say, right, yeah, quite recently I made a few things, where are they? But hang on, I'll just show you a few images I knocked up. I won't bore you with them, I mean. Right. Yeah, I don't know if any of you have ever tried to get an exemption card for wearing, for not needing to wear a face covering. I've sort of taken that off a little bit, and I'm sure I did a serious one. A lot of these just say I'm exempt from living in fear. Yeah, that is what was at the start. YouTube's hashtag, normally they say, I'll try and find, because I made a proper one. Where did that one go? I am exempt from wearing a face covering. Please be supportive. That is more or less what one looks like, although that is my own creation. So yeah, I've knocked up a few sort of jokey images. And I do have a Teespring store. I've put some of these designs up over there. Where is it? If any of you are interested in wearing a t-shirt with some of these designs, either wearing a t-shirt, getting a sticker, a phone case, a tote bag, a beach towel, all that stuff, then the link to this shop is in the description. I'm going to get one. I made them because basically I want it for myself. This is what I'm going to purchase. And yeah, they make it, I know that's a kid's one, I'm not buying that, but they make it really easy to put a design on a t-shirt and purchase it. So yeah, this is what I plan to buy. Okay, if you want one yourself, then check out the link in the description. A load of different colours they come in. Right. Anyway, I was going to, or we were going to watch this video on our way out. Alright, I'm going to wish you all a good night now. I've been going for roughly an hour. So, time for me to... Yeah, pretty much time for me to say goodnight to everyone. And thanks everyone who watched and tuned in. Hope you all have a good week. I will be back soon with another video. Okay, that is all from me. Thanks everyone and take care. Oops, sorry, I'm no audio. Yeah, good night, Maria. Thanks for joining in. And thanks for commenting. Much appreciated. I don't know why, but I've lost the audio on this video for some reason. Let me see, what have I done wrong? Or am I just being... Don't know if you guys can hear it. I'm going to just check. Strange. Oh, I know what I might have done. I don't know, why would that make any difference? Okay. So much for that then, hey. Odd. Maybe YouTube have managed to silence my video somehow. I don't know. Okay guys, I think that is it from me. I'm going to press end on the stream. Unfortunately, I won't be able to share that video with you, but I can put a link in the description to it, which I'm going to do now, and that'll be the last thing I do before saying goodnight. Yeah, it is called Beware These Propaganda Pieces. I've put it on 153 News. Yeah, it's in the chat if anyone wants to watch it, so have fun. Alright, take care everyone, and thanks for tuning in.